What's up, guys?
Yeah, this is Lee.
This is Sitati.
This is where hair Bree here.
Power. So, Dogo, we can call it body shaming, but that's where we were. Where part of my story is there was this lady at home. She had like this very big frontal assets, a very big future, very bright. And tulikuwa tunamwita Brookside. But hiyo ni perspective ya boy, because you're Aki, what is visual is very subjective to us. And naona tulikuwa tunamwita yogo yogo. But later on in life tunakuja kusikia ama kuambiwa where that was body shaming.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's so interesting because growing up, these things were normal in the society, you see. Somebody would come and call you yogo yogo, Brookside, and people laugh about it. And you as an innocent child, maybe a 9-year-old boy or a 10-year-old boy, that is what you've grown up seeing people being called. That is what you see. You're actually not informed that you're affecting this particular young girl. And you see, most of the times, even the emotions of this young girl, hatukuwa tunaambiwa, or nobody would be on her side or on her shoes because, take it, even for girls themselves, we were also body shaming, you know? And we were
like
also body
each other.
Each other.
So you see, this is something that like umegrow nayo, and then you've seen people calling this lady like a Brookside because in our like a primary we used to have this lady who had like a bigger breasts, and then when people could call her like a Brooksides, like they used there are times like she used to get like angry hadi kafika place akaanza kuzoea. So hadi imefika place hadi when you say Brookside, apparently since she's the one who has bigger boobs like literally the whole school, she could know it's her, so ikaza kuwa kama nickname. So imefika place hadi mna body shame and then she just laugh it off. So
I guess siri ni kujikubali.
No, but it's really bad because now imagine someone, this is something that could actually like bring someone's self-esteem down. Because if I can remember, the lady used to be really shy. You could find just her like the sweater. You see the way like in primary you'll find someone like doing this in the sweater. So most of the time she'll do this so that at least it's the hand that are visible, not like the boobs.
So to me she was ashamed.
Yeah, she was ashamed really.
Because at least uyu, not even at least, because nikisema hivyo some people will come at me. But ilikuwa tu uko home. She was a full grown adult. Na hata sidhani kama aliwahi rada we refer to her. But pia at some point Jen was saying at some point even boys to some extent they have some certain defects that they are also body shamed about. But whatever alisema also men struggle with. Nilikuwa najiuliza if it's something that can be termed as a defect. Alikuwa nasema there's some guys who have very big mjulu bangs. Weka ujui Google.
Okay, like big, okay, because like those people prefer it big and then they don't see it as a deformity. So like how big is it?
Yeah, like how would that be a challenge, man? Because the heavy you are packed, the ready you are for this business.
Did you know that as a child?
No.
You didn't know that as a child. And you see, that is why body changes influences even how we think. When let's talk about like adolescent age, where it starts, where you transition from a child to an adolescent. You're like around 9 years of age. We do not even know what sex is yet.
Yeah, true.
You don't even know what these body changes are. You wake up one day and as a man, you're wetting your bed and you don't know what is happening. And that you get shamed for it. I have heard of families that even beat children for thinking that it's urination. But this child has already transitioned, is transforming, na kuna body changes. Yeah, hujaisikia mtoto anaekwa chini anaambiwa ukikojoa kwa kitanda tena. Ama anaambiwa hujawahi kojoa, mbona umeanza kukojoa leo? So it's an assumption. You see?
But maybe what assume, maybe alikuwa amekunywa chai jioni kabla alale ama maji mingi, so maybe they will didn't
so
take
it's an
it
assumption.
But so then that also brings the issue to the parents. And by the way, guys, for context, we're talking about body changes. And for girls, it happens from around 9 years old. For boys, it happens from around 12, 13
Yeah.
years old. That's when girls and boys start experiencing changes in their bodies. Na changes ni kama tu zile zenye mulisomea tu shule. Breast enlarging for the girls, alafu the chest broadening for the boys, hips for madem.
Hapo.
Which hiyo ndio unachua?
Angalia kidogo.
Hapana, hips zina broade.
Wapi? Kila mtu like literally. Okay, ni sawa.
And yes, of course. I mean, body changes are not standard.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
they vary from person to person. Kuna dem njegi zinaweza kam zikuwe bigi, kuna mwingine itabaki medium size, kuna mwingine itakuwa vile Brenda alikuwa anasema kabati.
Bana, can you imagine? But then Brenda, what were you talking about? I can't believe. You know, right now, actually, when you grow up and you're exposed to all this information, that's when you realized when you're younger, ulikuwa body shamed.
Yeah.
Me, when I was in class 8, I hadn't developed. No, I was a really tiny, petite girl. I hadn't started my menses. I hadn't started having boobs protruding, and my voice was heavy. I didn't have soprano or anything. And then you're taught these things on books, and you see your fellow girls going through them, and you wonder. To that particular point, to me, it wasn't a problem. Until one day, I hope he listens to this podcast.
Na ushindwe mahali.
Atasikiza.
Until one day we were in class and my Swahili teacher was teaching insha. Yeah. And he was like, ukiandika insha, he needs your handwriting straight. You know, unajua kuna watu walikuwa naandika kama zimeslant, kuna watu nini. So alikuwa anasema maandishi yako, and this quoting, I'm quoting his words. Maandishi yako lazima yasimame tisti. Kama matiti ya msichana ambaye anabalehe. He didn't stop there. Nimesema nini? I think even my classmates from primary, like that statement stuck in our heads. Maandishi yako lazima yasimame tisti kama matiti ya msichana ambaye anabalehe. Msichana ambaye anabalehe is a girl who's already getting into adolescence. Yeah? And then he goes ahead and says, in my school tulikuwa nakaa boy girl on those rows. And he goes, angalia msichana ambaye amekaa kando yako na uangalie matiti yake. Maandishi yako yanafaa kusimama vivyo hivyo. So I happened to be this petite girl in class, seated in front with a certain boy. I wouldn't mention his name, but he happened to be the niece of my Swahili teacher. So the nephew, sorry. So my Swahili teacher goes like, my nephew, don't look at my hair. Hana kitu. Kifua imesimama kama mabati, nini kabati. And everybody busted out. You see?
We are now.
Like we are now. You know, and you sit down and you wonder why, and everybody's busting. And at that particular point, you're like, okay, for me, it started building questions in my head. Because I have my younger sisters, tumeachana na months, 11 months, like we are literally age mates. So them, you go back home and you look at them, they already have this maandishi yenye matiti yamesimama.
Kuna handwriting mzuri.
And you're older than them. So nikaanza kufikiria, is there something wrong with me? Is there something? Why am I not maturing? So I even told my mom, buy for me bras. Push-ups. Nieke kwa hii kabati yangu.
Vitu zisaidia bede.
It's that because you see.
Nieke kwa hii kabati yangu.
So like when you wear them, it's the part that's going to show that you have breasts or maybe have small. They pull it up because the bras, there are those bras that have like a aki, nika chuma hivi. So ukivaa izinua hivi. So no, itaonekana kama you have them. Literally.
I was praying to my God. I don't look that hard because it was elaborate. But so you're saying at least you tried to talk with your mom and to ask her if it was normal or if there was a problem with you.
Yeah.
But then it's not the case with many girls out here and even women, because there are women who are fully grown. They are also in their adult phase and they have still haven't gotten to this stage where they now call it like fully formed stage.
Yeah.
Where else it's just how the body developed. Because there's a lady somewhere who looks at her, chest, and she's like, I still have a deformity here. And I guess that's why even some people right now, and especially Maju, I don't know if Kenya it has already started happening. People are having zinaitwaje ni implants or something.
Happening even in Kenya.
Yeah, so it's an issue that even adult women go through, and even some of the men, especially pale kwenye kwenye vifaa vya kazi, they try to look for various ways to which they can improve, to which they can lengthen and make it even bigger. But so for the young girls, they really don't have, most of them don't have someone to talk to, and even the boys. So how does this affect, your self-esteem? How does it affect your even performance in class? Because una msee wa kuongelesha, to mean thoughts zinaendelea could go crazy in your mind, asking yourself, and because there's nobody there to tell you that this is normal, this is what happens. It happens at different stages and at different levels for different people. How do they, like for you, for did you have someone to talk to?
It's actually interesting that you're mentioning that, because as for me, I've been raised by a stepmom. I was raised by my mom, and most of the time I was always afraid. Okay, like I had a stepsister who was bigger, but most of the time unaonanga ile age yenye when you are young and then you have sisters that are maybe older than you, you tend not to like interact much, because either they're having boyfriend and you're telling on them, so they don't like you, so you're always having that. Hadi ukikuwa na shida kwamba usikuje usinijaribu kuniambia nini, and uambie dadu na shida amesema hivyo. So usually I didn't have like a good relationship with my stepsister and my sisters. Neither was the relationship good with my stepmom. So apparently as she had said, for me actually, like yes, I was 10 years, but my boobs started developing when I was in around class 8. And weird enough, like I used to hear this thing about like when you have bigger boobs because you allow boys wa kushike. And I was really frustrated because mi nilikuwa nashindwa, because personally mimi ungenikaribia as a man ama kijana, nilikuwa nakwambia enda katia, hadi mtu kukuja ile kuniambia enda katia rika yako, because I used to feel like maybe I'm too small maybe for that. So it used to get me worried, and I used to usually have like anxiety, because when in my head, knowing that wakati uko na boobs kubwa ni kwa sababu umeshikwa. And in my head I know hakuna mtu amezishika. So how comes kwani if there's someone ananishikanga usiku nikilala, ama what usually happens. So I started like having like anxiety issues, nashinda nikijishukushuku na shanga kwani what's wrong with me, and then I didn't have actually anyone to talk to. So I just would be there like, maybe there is a problem with me, maybe ni ugonjwa, maybe. And then I used to hear when you like when you have like cancer, unapata kwamba nini zimekuwa kubwa. So maybe I used to think maybe it's just like one of zile ugonjwa zenye maybe one day nikipata pesa nikiwa mkubwa I'll go check. So I didn't even know like maybe ni kitu yenye, as much as maybe wanasema boobs zina develop, but unakaa hivi unaangalia wasichana wenzako si like hazija develop hivyo, so kule and people see you and they're like, wewe tunajua sori unafanya. So you have no idea, hata mtu akianza kuguza hivi utashanga like what's not happening.
Where, because najaribu kukumbuka kwanza primary, for us it was such a sport, ama niseme for the boys at school. Primary, it was such a sport. Kuona them, amejenga. Because kwanza ile time mnaenda PE, alafu inabidi mtoe sweta, ama maybe ndo mmevaa tisho, alafu kuna ule maybe alitoka home ajavaa nini ndani. So like alafu sijuangi what happens, alafu they're appointed, and now it becomes such a sport. Kwanza mali kunajua kuna ile line yenye mnapanga ya kures, maybe side iko na 5 people, side iko na 5 people. Kwa zile shule zenye haziko separated, ndio maybe utapata boy girl. Kuna shule zingine boys this side, girls this side, wanashindana. But ule mwenye dem ako nyuma, man, it was such a sport, because then huyo dem ndio maboy wengi wanataka kuwa mbele yake. So kwa ule dem mwenye anabaki akijiuliza, mbona, because sasa we ung'ang'aniwi, hakuna mtu anataka kusema mbele yako, we kaa tu uko nyuma bana. So then it brings up it brings out an issue where there's a lack of information and a lack of awareness of how, and I guess bado hata pia huku ndio sexual harassment inaanzia, but then unajua you're so young, you also don't know that this is what's called sexual harassment. But we also need to talk about attraction, because kwa hii stage ya ndio pia jama pia ama boy mwenye anasikiliza hii na ako primary asianze kujikashifu sana, because hii age ya adolescence is also where attraction to the opposite sex and also by understanding how attraction for both the sexes works, it's, you know, for boys it's very visual, it's what you see, and for girls it's what you feel, or rather what that person makes you feel. So kwetu what was visible at the time, and you know pia kwa adolescents hapo adolescent stage ndio pia mahali when you also experiencing erections like proper, unajua kwetu inakwanga kama dose 3 times, so ama ni 1 times 3.
I did
inakwanga full prescribed dose. That pharmacy nama ya doctor
asubuhi when you wake up, that's okay.
like asubuhi yo 5-4 bwana bendera ni kama ya chief imesimama, alafu lunchtime around 12 to 1 bado una register another o'clock, and also in the evening.
Wait, like does this happen only during adolescence ama hadi when you are
No, sasa depending on how healthy you are now as a man as you transition into your adulthood, ndio ita determine if you will still be experiencing the 3 erections along the day. And mind you, they are not influenced by thoughts or by anything.
It's just biology.
Hapana, ni biology tu, ina happen tu yenyewe. So inaweza kuwa tu saa 7 alafu maybe ndo mlikuwa mnaenda PE, alafu hizi just shot za PE vile zinakwanga revealing, alafu tu ikuje
That brings me to my something else, Lim. How do we package information on body changes to adolescents and young people and children? Let me just say children. You see, how do we package this information? How do we give this information to them such that we break some of these cultural or societal norms that surround body changes?
And you know, this it has been a question that has been thrown for the larger part of last week and some part of this week. We've really been asking, and I was interacting with some teachers also some time back. It's really a question that baffles especially the adult generation, because how, number one, hakuna mtu aliwaongelesha about these things. They happened, ziliwapata kwa barabara, and it was almost a taboo to talk about these things. So they are really struggling with this generation because it is also very much exposed to the digital world. Ebu imagine kuna dem yako TikTok alafu ata land kwa dem anafanya implants.
True.
Na maybe ndako kwa stage ya adolescence. And like sahi, because kila kitu ni content, kuna dem ana document journey yake to implants. Anaonyesha day 1 without implants, day 2 without implants, alafu day 45 the day of the surgery, alafu after implants. But like unaona na document, alafu kuna mtoi hapo bado ameona yako clearly in that stage. So kwa kichwa yake inajiambia this is maybe what I should do. So as in the adults that we have right now, wachana na our Gen Z parents, our Generation Y. Generation Y ama ni Generation X, ni Generation Y parents, bwana struggle sana on how to package the information and how this information is relevant to maybe the child. Because wanaona ni kama if they speak about it, they are ama they are encouraging the young child ama the adolescent to go and experience some of these things zenye wanaongelea. Yet they fail to see especially sahi with the kind of exposure that is around, usipoongelesha this particular child, you're actually endangering their health.
Yeah.
You're endangering their mental health as well, because some of the things that will happen now ndio mtu ata grow nazo na PTSD ingine kali.
Yeah.
But kuna kitu ama there is something that is called age appropriate comprehensive sexuality education,
Yes.
which is whereby you give information based on the age
Yeah.
of the child, of the adolescent, of the young person. You don't give information based on what you think they should know.
Yeah.
Or rather, where you should approach this conversation is from what they already know. Kuna wale wazazi wanaulizwa mtoto anatokanga wapi. So rather than kujaribu kumwambia anafika kwa supermarket ama mimi kwa niliambianga unakotango kwa river fulani.
Okay.
Yeah, rather than kuapproach from that perspective, muulize we unadhani wewe utoka wapi? Because trust you me, huyu mtu yako na hii information. Because me kwanza, like for my experience, my mom ako hii side ya med sana. So hii time ndio alikuwa anajaribu ku advance. So kulikuwa na hizi books za midwife na so like the first time mi niliona childbirth ilikuwa kwa kitabu na nilikuwa class 3. I guess nilikuwa kitu class 3 class 4 hapo. Because na hapo ndo niliona the different kinds of births, tail birth. Kuna ingine yenye mtoto anatoka na miguu, kuna yenye mtoto anatoka sideways. Like unaona bado nazikumbuka. Hiyo kitabu ilikuwa kala yellow. So at that time mali tulikuwa tunaishi, ungesikia kenye neiba anasema na neiba angesikia kenye ulikuwa unasema. So tulikuwa mimi bro yangu tunapiga story. Sasa tunaangalia kitabu. And uko like ni kitu ya mama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ndio mtoto anatoka hapa. So neiba anasikia anashindwa guy out.
Wanasema nini?
What are these people looking at? So tukasemwa jioni. Man, tulitandikwa.
But you see, something interesting about that, okay, like, there was a time I was taking care of my nephew, and then una realize kwamba these kids know something zenye tunafikiria they don't know.
Yeah.
Because like a kid is there telling you sijui mama yako sijui, and you are wondering mtoto alijulia wapi hizi vitu. So as much as maybe tunasema like giving that child age appropriate education ni kumu-initiate into something, this kid already knows. Like literally saizi if you ask maybe a 5-year-old baby like maybe akuulize watoto wanatoka wapi, mwambie supermarket, atakwambia hapana, wanatoka kwa tumbo. Unaona? So literally mtoto there is something anajua, na wewe ile kubuy into supermarket, it's not working anymore.
Na the moment unampiga mauongo, anajua ni mauongo, the moment una lose credibility na influence as a parent. So inamaanisha atenda mahali anadhani information ni ukweli.
Very
na
true.
sahi mahali yo place wase wanadhani information ni ukweli ni online. Na hapo umeshapoteza huyo mtoi.
True.
So, but then even begs the question, and also looking at the international day that's approaching, World Refugee Day. Kama huu ni mtoto Mkenya, amezaliwa Kenya na ni Mkenya halisi, and experience some of these challenges, access to correct and factual information, access to services, because pia once you get to adolescence, it also brings about some certain expectation and some certain needs. For girls, ndio menses zinaanza.
Yeah.
So inamaanisha access to sanitary towels, it becomes a consistent need. Na asipopata, it becomes a problem. So anaweza miss school na blah blah blah. So if this is a citizen-born child, Kenyan, je huyu mwenye war has happened to their country, ama something happened in their country, and because of one reason or the other, they had to flee to another country. And now they are really trying to fight just to be able to accommodate some of the basic needs, which is food, shelter, education, na healthcare. That's a life ya huu mtu refugee kwaje. The adolescent, the young person, or even the youth.
I feel like systems are biased, number one. And also there's no inclusivity when it comes to even access to services and information, even disseminating this information to people generally. And it's good that you've brought up that refugee bit into this conversation, because number one, we need to understand that there are different needs on different levels.
Sure.
Huwezi compare information yenye mtu ako nayo urban center to somebody who has information in the rural center, to somebody who has information in maybe a refugee camp.
Yeah.
They are cutting across different places. So you find that in those refugee camps, the refugee kids and adolescents are facing a wide variety of challenges, such that even in terms of aid in the camps, things to do with sexual reproductive health, maybe services and information become deprioritized.
Yeah, sure.
Why? We need to give you guys education. We need to give you guys food. We need to find for you guys shelter. But take an instance where we have something like menstrual flow. This is not something that you subscribe to and you can cut the subscription anytime.
You can choose.
Or you can choose. This is something that happens to you monthly. Some people even bi-weekly. You see?
Yeah.
And menstrual hygiene and menstrual flow is just a whole other Pandora's box with so many other challenges, from things like endometriosis, from things like maybe heavy flows, period pains that are now being normalized. So imagine somebody in a refugee camp who all these services have been deprioritized. They don't even have information. They don't even have services. And you go there. I was once in Kakuma, in Turkana, where Kakuma itself is stationed already is in a place that is marginalized.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The community there is a community that encourages child marriages. Once umona your boobs are grown at the age, and I was so shocked. I saw like a kid who is like yay high. That is like around 6, 7, actually 6 years old, has already been booked for marriage. And how do you know they have been booked? They wear these rings. If you even if you see, like, if you watch even documentaries or you go online and you see Turkana women, you find like even a child mdogo sana ameshavalishwa hizo mashanga zinafika huku juu. That one means that she already has been booked. Somebody has already paid a down payment for their dowry.
Get ready.
For her to get ready. And when do they get ready? At 9 years old. Once somebody has seen breasts. Doesn't matter how large or small these breasts are. So the refugees already in a marginalized communities, and when they come in, they tend to uptake those cultural beliefs and cultural practices. So you find that a kid, menstrual hygiene is treated as a sin. Remember, you don't even have access to these things. Yeah? And then you already put to a certain level of shame, such that when you're menstruating, you're treated ni kama you're going through an evil phase. Yeah? You're going through an evil phase. So you find that even in the camp itself, girls, when they are going into their periods, they go and run and hide for those 3-4 days. Ndio mtu asijue they are going through that.
Mtu tayari ana exist in a community where schools they're either kidogo or to some extent, because also some of these camps are huge right now.
Yeah.
To a point Mali, maybe Ako, the closest school is some very many kilometers away. And for boys, also funny thing, and also I was in a certain meeting with some lady politician, kind of Saudi. Anyway, and I remember when the plenary session was opened, and for people, to give inputs on what might be missing to the bill that she wants to introduce, the many people that spoke were women.
Is it Kihika? The Kihika bill?
No, hapana, si Kihika, ni ya juzi. Nimesahau jina yake. I'm confused na Mili Omanga, but si Omanga.
Gani? Ni wa wapi?
The one who came in with period.
Achana na Oruopa. Kuna ni Mili, anaitwa Mili nani? Honorable Millie something. Anyway, she's introducing the family RH bill, and it's covering some very many aspects. But sasa, once people were listening to the many aspects that she has included, she asked, do you think or do you feel that something has been missed out? If yes, what is it? And so the many people that spoke on the things that have been missed, especially in accessing services, in awareness, were women, because you'd find a lady, some of the ladies spoke about misdiagnosis, whereby kuna mwingine alikuwa misdiagnosed na endometriosis, na maybe it was some form of cramps that she was experiencing, na ni kitu ingetibiwa na painkillers fulani, yet aliyekuwa on some heavy medications, huku mbele kukuja kuria. Hata huyo madamili pia alisema nini cramps ilikuwa ni cramps ama ni endometriosis ilikuwa misdiagnosed for a very long time. Vile alienda campus majuu, ndio alienda akamba, you have a very common problem which can be sorted very easily. Now, so watu walikuwa wanadhani like she's expecting, yet kumbe ni nini ndio zilikuwa zimeform kwa tumbo. So like girls and ladies and women, you will find for them, at least they are in the know of the many problems or challenges that they experience, and how, or even like they can make an initiative to go look for help. But for boys, how you were raised, we ni kama unanga shida, you are just born and go to the world, because you can't even express some of the problems you face. And me myself here, the farthest I can think about or I can go ni akina maybe prostate cancer, akina what else, like that is the farthest I can go. But kuko na some reproductive health issues kama erectile dysfunction, kama low sperm counts that men experience, but si wengi wanajua na si many they can seek these services from. So hata tukiongelea refugee camp hapo, there's what the girl child is going through and there's what the boy child might be going through. And the girl child, right now, there are many programs that are being implemented, and being worked around issues affecting the girls. And the boys unaona wameendelea tu kuachwa hivyo. Yet at the end of the day, when you put these two people together, experience yao ndo zinakujanga zina impact na zina fuse, alafu zinakuwa combined, because ni boy child ndiye ata impregnate girl child, and then we have teenage pregnancies, of which hata I don't even to get into that conversation kwa wase wako kwa camps, because I can't. Huku unajua tuko na dispensary, sijui kama ziko.
Okay, but then at least speaking of that, you see like something is just getting in my head and now I'm getting confused. Concerning that bado huku nje, even the girls, it's even like hard for you to know, let's say maybe you're going through something, because when you're talking about like someone being misdiagnosed like kuwa na endometriosis wakati hana, this is quite like a common problem ambayo ina happen huku nje, because there was this lady was saying on TikTok akisema like if you're having this sign bloating, I don't know, heavy cramps, then you have endometriosis, because literally a lot of people have endometriosis without knowing. But you see, this is not a doctor that has actually like diagnosed. This is just someone who's trying to create content. But this is out here for those who can at least access maybe information and have access to what? Access to the healthcare services and information and healthcare services. Now I'm trying to imagine of someone who is inside there, probably their priority is not even about phones and maybe accessing the information from the internet. And even if they have the access to information,
it's wrong.
Getting maybe out of the camp to go maybe at least to a place where they can at least seek that maybe services that maybe is going to help them is not even something that maybe they think of, maybe because maybe basically what they think of unaona zile tu ni basic, maybe unaona kichwa ni kitu kama hizo. But maybe for even someone, let's say who has, let's say even the endometriosis or something, watapoti hizo painkillers maybe na uko ndani, but this is maybe something yenye angekuwa in a place where maybe anaweza access hizo services, no angekuwa nayo issue. And this is something yenye inaendange na lead to, is it cancer ama ni inakuanga nini? So this is something yenye by the I feel kama they really do struggle a lot, and it's something that wanafaa kufanyaje, wanafaa ku have to do something to
Nikakumbuka kuna jamaa fulani well educated and the wife at the time alikuwa atupigia story kwa cab driver uko Kilifi. Anatuambia the wife at the time was experiencing that. So tumbo bana inakuwa kubwa, nadhani mama ako ana-expect. But akienda hospitali anaambia hakuna. But hawamwambii the real problem ni gani. So unajua akaamua aje? Mganga bana. Kamuenda kwa mganga. Kwenda kwa mganga akamwambia anajua shida ni gani na tutamtibu. Huyu amerogwa, ametembelewa huyu. Lakini usaidizi utapata hapa. So si unajua hizo zinakuanga zile growth zinanganga kwa tumbo.
Endometriosis.
Yes, si fibroids. So alitoa anasema alipewa dawa fulani. Ati hiyo dawa ndio alienda akakunywa, alafu akatoa vitu karibu bucket mzima. So akasema kama sio mchawi ama mganga angewahi jua shida ni gani. But si ukikuja unapata this is a real medical condition that many women go through. But if this is a grown man well versed na anaenda hospitali, na pia hospitali yenyewe iwezi hizo hospitali zoko hizo mashinani haziwezi diagnose what's actually happening. Sasa unashindwa. Alafu during that conversation pia there's a health provider who said that pia saa zingine tunaangalia curriculum yenye wale madaktari walipitia. Some of the doctors that we have, some of the practicing health service providers that we have right now, curriculum yenye wao waligonga ilikuwa curriculum ile ya kitambo, na vitu mingi hazikuwa discovered at the time, because the healthcare sector pia na the medicine world ina change kila siku. So to mean pia wayuko updated on most of the things that have been discovered by now. So kumaanisha pia not unless you're going back to school, na pia the moment you're going back to school, curriculum yenye unajaribu kupitishiwa si advanced kulingana na the problem, kulingana na the research and the findings that have been made today. So to mean also as a country, kidogo we are back in a way to a point that the services we are accessing right now, they're somehow outdated. Now this is mashinani again. Let's go to the camp. Iko aje hata kuna madaktari wa kutosha huko other than wenye wametumwa na aid camp, of which it even troubles me because we are not refugees and we're really trying to dissect what they face, and of which it's important that someone talks about it, someone addresses, and it's brought to light, because at the end of the day they also have needs. They need to access information, they need to access services, and it's quality services. And now that they are in our country, for example, those who are in our country, constitution yetu inasema mtu yeyote mwenye anajaribu ku access services anafaa ku access quality, healthcare services. So najiuliza sa je, if we'd have had and maybe we will work on this next time, to have a refugee really try to, and there are those refugees who are in the urban sector na kuna wale wako
camps, the camps themselves.
Okay, by the way, Lee, now that tuko tunaongelea the issue of access to information and health services, refugees normally kuna wale wanakuanga na issue na story na housing, and then kuna also the issue with access to medical services. So now let's talk about maybe a lady that during the wakati body na change the lady kuna wale wanaanza kupata menses, and you are in a place where you cannot receive privacy. Because now and then probably maybe venye ulikuwa unasema kakuma, maybe your place may wakati so like it's fully packed, there is no water, so that means even this person during the menses they cannot access the sanitation products. And it's really, I'm even trying to wonder, is it imagination? Because now you see, this is something that maybe, kama hata maybe kuna maji wata prioritize na zile maybe tuseme chakula, kupika na nini. So it means they don't even prioritize kufanya nini? for this person kusema ati maybe unafaa kuwa na maji yenye maybe after the changing the pad kama ni wanatumia kuosha mikono and everything, so it means kutakuwa na issue even to access to wash services. Kutakuwa na issue maybe to access to hizo story na nini menstrual products. Kutakuwa na hakuna privacy because maybe hata the place penye mnaishi you are watu maybe tuseme watu 5 in that place, hauna privacy yako as a lady. That's the time when umeanza kujishuku like maybe you think something is wrong with you because maybe you've never talked to a parent about these changes, so unashindwa like what happened to me, is there something that's going on enye I'm supposed to talk to someone, we don't have someone to talk to.
How then do we shift our advocacy to ensure that it's inclusive of all these people?
You know, I am actually there mentally because I've just sort of remembered, and it's kidogo away, but it's stories. We had made some stories, and I remember I was trying to get the opinion from different people, what they think about these stories. Zimekuwa packaged vizuri and blah blah blah, but as they were watching, kidogo unaona mpaka tears in their eyes. So of course as a creator I'm like, yes, it has achieved what it was meant to achieve. But on getting insights on how it is, ndio akasema, you know, I have just been reminded of how privileged I am because I have not had to experience half of what, and there were young ladies, of what this young lady has gone through. So your part to ya, I am very privileged, ndio niko hapo sai, and I'm just thinking, shoot, in as much as there are challenges to what we are going through, I am also privileged in many ways, because half of what these guys from the refugee camps go through, I haven't had a chance to go through them. So even to hear and try to comprehend, it is so cringe.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, is this even happening to a human being? Let alone you and a human being that lives in the same country as you. But to speak to that question, even to try to answer it, because it's a conversation that can stretch for days. Number one, it's bringing these issues out. The fact that we're even talking about it now, the fact that we are trying to comprehend what they go through, that is the first step. Because kuna mtu tu huko bado hata alikuwa anaendelea ajui refugees pia wako na some issues, or maybe anaweza sema wanakuanga na mashida but
wako na pesa,
but it doesn't hit home.
UNHCR iko hapo. I find like most of the times people assume, because the first time when I went to Kakuma, somebody told me hii place iko na pesa. These refugees, they have, because you land in Lodwar and there is all aid, like all NGOs, all international NGOs.
Someone actually told me that they usually get paid by their countries. So when you say that, I think
when you go to the camp itself, you know what, I came, I was like, okay, so they're just rich posing, they have money. When you go to the camp itself, deep down ndani ya camp uko hapo katikati, and you talk to these young people, let me tell you, even accessing simple medical health care is a problem. Even accessing insurance is a problem. Even getting that refugee identity number is a problem.
And
you see,
I guess you cannot access many things without
that ID. So then how do we get it out there that these people are going through these problems, even the SRHR challenges?
In as much as there are all these aids.
In as much as there are all these aids, it means there is a gap. You see, number one, even if you look at our policies, there's a gap because they do not address for maybe lack of a better word, or I think it's the best word to use, they don't address intersectionality.
Yeah.
You find a policy is just there, vague, but doesn't get to the. Take an instance. We have maybe girls here. There's a Weher who is in Nairobi. There's a Weher who is in Lodwar. There's a Weher who is in Kakuma. Me in Nairobi, I can get cash flow. I can get whatever. I can even get access. Even the aids, like the free sanitary towels from the women reps, can get to me. But I am here in Kakuma as a woman experiencing these periods. I do not already have funds to get the necessary services that I need, but I also don't even have the refugee ID number to go and access that medical service. How then do you want that policy that you're putting out there to cover me and protect me as a young person going through these challenges?
It's a very good question.
You see, like where is asking, and then I'm really getting to figure this thing out, and now trying to quite like a bit understand the struggles they're going through. Also considering that even for us who are out here, sometimes it's hard even for the young girls to ask their parents about let's say the pads or the menstrual products. Now this is someone who even doesn't have access to them. Who is he going to ask? Because for let's say for me, I really was shy even to ask. I didn't want to ask even too. Now that as much as maybe nilikuwa nimepata boobs like nikiwa primary, but nilipata periods nikiwa high school. And high school ungefanyiwa like shopping ya kila kitu. Mlikuwa mnaandikiwa as a lady you need this because I went to a girl school. So ilinipata that I hate, but nikuja home nilikuwa afraid kuuliza. So now this is someone who doesn't have access. Atauliza nani? Atatisha nani?
Again, you can see how, which is not part, but how issues related to women, they are really out here, and there is someone somewhere trying to do something about it. Hata mimi mwenyewe hata najishangaa, because in as much as I am expected to speak for the boy child, me as the boy child myself, I don't know some of these things that not unless it gets me at some point, knock on wood, I wouldn't. Right now, I don't know some of the issues other than hizi zenye Dr. Murugu anatupigianga hapo kwa TV kila siku, akina low sperm count, akina erectile dysfunction na hizi tests kidogo hapa na pale za prostate cancer, of which pia men also have breast cancer.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Funny thing.
So they did that.
But how many men know that? Just tunazitanga men boobs. Juu saa zingine ni juu maybe umedishi vibaya, ama you have a big body and pia they deposit themselves, the fat deposits hapo kwa kifua. But how many men are being checked?
Yeah.
And how many men are aware even to for them to even get to a point where they can be checked? So that is a very important and deep question that we will have to revisit at some point. But however, what's imminent and will, like, it's unavoidable, is these challenges will continue to exist until they are properly addressed. Or until there is something that really targets what exactly is happening in these communities. Because as at now, it's like someone experiencing phantom pain. Your brain is telling you have a pain, but in real sense, your body is not even in a position to feel that pain. So I guess that is where also some of the programs that are running are coming from. We want to tell ourselves this is what they are going through, and this is what will alleviate maybe their issues. This is what will fill the gap. But we truly do not understand what they are actually really going through. And to me, we're not even in a position I mean, let alone the skills, but we are not in a position to fully understand and really feel the gap of the challenges that they're going through.
Lee, can I add something? I remember the other day we were in a meeting, and I have a friend who is a social worker and also I think a healthcare worker, and she was talking about how hard it is for them to give services. She works in up around Italy. She was talking about how hard it is for them to give services to the ladies. Let's say maybe those that are coming for whatever SRHR services. It is it be it contraceptive or something, because there is the issue of culture and there is the issue of language barrier. Because as much as maybe you're going to develop content, maybe for us we're going to develop content in what language? English, Swahili. But the thing is, even these refugees themselves, they have different languages.
Yeah.
That even if I call you Leo inside there and I call Waheru, you're going to talk, but you're not going to understand each other
Fully.
So the thing is, even if, like, let's say I'm giving a service and I want to understand what she wants, and I'm using you as an interpreter, there are things you're not going to understand each other, which means even the service that I'm going to give her is not the one that is even right for her, because hamuelewani vizuri. So there is also the issue of language, and the moment Waheru had us about like how we're going to create content so that we like information, so that we message our let's say comprehensive sexuality, age appropriate education to them. We have to also figure out the thing of language.
How to tap. You have, and I don't know how it slipped my mind. Imagine we have refugees deep in Isili, like what? And this is where I will plug HIAS, because HIAS works with refugees. But HIAS, look into these other places. I know you have some presence in these places, but how can we mainstream these issues? How can we make the issues a Kenyan issue? Because the moment the issues become a Kenyan issue, the moment it is very easy to advocate and push and try to make something happen for them. Okay.
Yeah.
My final take.
Wow. We're on the final take.
Oh, wait.
My final take for this is, let us embrace intersectionality.
Perhaps tell them what because
Intersectionality means we are different. We are experiencing different problems at different levels.
True.
I'm a woman. Being a woman in itself already puts me at a place of vulnerability. You see? That is number one. Number two, I'm a woman who's HIV positive. That being HIV positive in itself puts me at another level of vulnerability. I'm a woman who's HIV positive and I'm a refugee. That puts me in 3 levels of vulnerability.
Yeah.
I'm a woman who has HIV, who's a refugee, and probably who doesn't have access to sexual reproductive health services in the camp. I'm on level 4. Where our policies at? Level 1.
Level 1.
Just being a woman.
Just being a woman. See?
Yeah.
That's where our policies are. You see how heavy it is when you bring... It is so heavy when you bring the aspect of intersectionality. Even when today our topic was body changes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And body changes trickles down to information.
Yeah.
Yeah? That information that we are disseminating in schools. Some people went to private schools, you know, the ones that we call group of schools here. Wengine walienda huko, whereby even the packaging of body changes is so beautiful.
Yeah.
But some people went to CDF schools and the packaging of body changes
So gory.
is scary.
Scary.
You know, you're even scared when you're a girl whose hips have broadened. A teacher, like for instance, me, I didn't have boobs in class 8, and a teacher had the audacity to stand in a class of 40 students and make fun and yeah,
Make fun of.
you see. So how do you import intersectionality in disseminating information with regards to body changes, adolescence, and sexual reproductive health?
Sitati.
Waheru, like you're making my mind wander and okay. For me, I will really love us to be inclusive, because when you're talking about body changes, this is something even like us adults struggle with. Body changes happen differently and uniquely in everyone, not at the same time. And as much as that those things that maybe someone will be like, apana, for me to be a woman, I need to have this, I need to have this. Mine will have to go to the young people out there.
Yeah.
Do not have the pressure that you need to look like. Even us adults were struggling to have the hips. They were saying, oh, when the hips broaden, when you are 23, you are 24, they're not there. They're not still there. So the thing is, appreciate and embrace your body. Love your body the way it is. Do not let anybody body shame you.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if the moment you're not in love with your body, you're going to have a lot of, let's say, self-esteem issues. People are going to throw things at you, and you're going to think it's because of how you look.
It'll be very naive.
Exactly, because someone comes there and do something bad to you, and like, maybe it's because of how I look. Maybe I look too fat. That's what maybe he or she has talked to me like that. Maybe I look too thin. That's a bit slim or slender. Like I look too, I don't know, too petite. That's why they're talking to me that way. Let's embrace our bodies and let's embrace our uniqueness, because the thing is, we are all unique, and our body changes differently in a unique way, and we should not try to be quite like in a competition with others, because their body has transitioned the way we were taught in school. We need to embrace that we are different, we are unique, and embrace yourself the way you are, because the moment you're not you're not going to impress your body, you're going to have issues that are going to transition, they're going to follow in your job. You don't have self-esteem. You are called upon to talk. You feel shy because you feel like people are going to look at my boobs. They're too big. People are going to look at me. I don't know. I'm short. I don't know. I'm overweight. I don't know, and everything. And this is actually something that even affects adults, because you realize that someone has issues with self-esteem because someone somewhere body shamed them, and they're so afraid that they're so overweight, and they can't even function at work better, because each and every time there's something throwing the light, you are fat, you see. And this is something that actually we really need to stop. We need to accept that some people have their body weight is different because of maybe medical condition, but you're out there laughing at someone, they are fat because of that. Like, they're either slender, but maybe it's because they have a certain condition. Like the other day, I was somewhere, and I had people discussing about this. It's more of a, let's say, a celebrity, and I think he has cancer. So the thing is, you see the way cancer eats up someone, they become so slim. And people are like, oh, nowadays, like, he's so slim, what would be and I'm like, by the way, I really don't care how rude this person has ever been to you, but you're not supposed to laugh at how someone is, whether they were slim, whether they were slender, now they are fat. Okay, allow me to, sorry, but I don't mean like fat, but that word, they're big. Or whether they were big and now they're small, because people are going through a lot. And the moment we are going to body shame people in that way, it really affects people's mental health, because you are there laughing at someone's medical condition. You don't know how much they sit in their room and cry about their body weight. You don't know how much they sit in their room and cry about that bad sentiment that we made about their body. And it's really so frustrating. And I wouldn't honestly want anybody to go through that. I think it's time that we start embracing our uniqueness, embrace your body, embrace your neighbors, your sisters, and your brothers, and let's stop body shaming each other, because it's not good to our mental health and general well-being.
Well, people, Sitati has said, it. And whatever you are, a refugee living in Kenya or living in any other country, specifically for those who are living in Kenya, I want you to know that there are Kenyans who deeply care about your well-being, really think about you guys, and don't really feel left alone. There are Kenyans who are working to make sure that you are accommodated and you are as comfortable in this country as if it were your own. So this is just a message to you, a message of love, a message of comfort, and a message of peace. We are one, and you will continuously be part of us. This is hope away from home. Asanteni.